Hi everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So I just wanted to talk today about one of the images that I captured on my recent vlog to Gran Canaria over in Maspalomas at the sand dunes, and it was the panorama that I captured with 17 images of the sand dunes. And I just wanted to talk a little bit more detail about how I actually captured that image, how I post-processed that image as well, and because it's turned out to be a really cracking image, and I'm really pleased that I was able to capture that one as well. So before I go any further, let's just remind ourselves how I did it. So I've just got another composition set up here for the sand dunes over the back there, and obviously got the darker sand in the foreground. And what I'm actually finding, it's going to create really good pano shot. So I've taken several different images, and I'll post up how many images I've taken in total, across obviously taking in each of the 3 peaks as well. So hopefully that'll work out really quite well. Gain settings for that, f16, ISO 100, aperture priority mode. So that's just remind us how I actually captured that actual image, and it's a great image. Obviously 17 images all stitched together, worked out really quite well. But it was quite an effort to actually process that image, and that's obviously what I want to talk about today. It's stitching all those 17 images together proved to be quite complicated. I think what I did wrong when I was actually taking the images is I actually took the images from right to left instead of left to right. And that may well be my own personal perception about how the computer struggled a bit to obviously process all of those images, and obviously to stitch it actually all together as well. But I'm just going to jump into the computer now and show you how it all worked out. So I opened up all of the images into Photoshop Elements 2018 and processed all 17 images and through the camera raw, and then saved each of the images as an individual JPEG file. I then opened up all of the images in Photoshop Elements 2018, and then from there I went about processing the panorama shot. To do that, you go into the guided section of Photoshop Elements 2018 and then click on the photo merge and then photo merge panorama. So what I learnt by processing this image is, before I actually click on the create panorama down the bottom here, I then need to go into the settings tab here and make sure that all of these boxes are ticked as well, as they're not ticked as default. So you want to tick the vignette removal, the geometric distortion correction, and the content aware fill transparent areas. And what that means, it's actually going to produce the image and fill in the blank spaces. Once you've ticked all those, and as I say, you make sure you tick those before you actually go ahead and create the panorama, then simply just click on the create panorama and let Photoshop do its thing. So this is the first edits that I actually got after processing it through the panorama, and as you can see, it's not good quality whatsoever. And there's obviously all of the distortion lines between each of the sections of the panorama as well, and obviously it's very warped at the same time. And this was 2 things that I found that obviously caused this. First of all, processing all of the 17 images together was too big a file for the computer to process. Secondly as well, is that there was a lot of obviously images taken, and again obviously it was that disorientation or distortion between each of the sections as I was taking each of the image. So what I thought I need to do is break it down into sections. And what I actually did is then broke the main panorama down into 4 different sections and to create different images and process them into a panorama itself. Once I did that, I then obviously created and checked all of the obviously fill lines and obviously the alignments as well to make sure that there was no distortion. So these are the images that I actually got. I stitched together several different images here for each of these first of the 4, and that's given me the whole panorama itself. I then put PP1 and PP2 together to create PP5, and then PP3 and PP4 together to create PP6, which was the 2 halves of the panorama. I then stitched both PP5 and PP6 together to create the final image. And what I was able to do then is, because I was narrowing it down more and more, it actually created a more of a balanced image, and the actual computer was able to process those images better and obviously then work out the actual alignment between each one, to then finally create the image that I showed in the vlog. So I then created the full image, which is this one here, and stitching all of the details together. And as you can see over here on the layers tab, you can actually see where the panorama program itself has actually created fill-in points and obviously merged the actual files together, and then also where it's filled in the edges as well. And I feel that that's really created a really good aligned image as well. So zooming in a little bit more now, which obviously you can't necessarily do on the videos, but you can actually see that the alignment along the top here is pretty well. There's a few little bits that if you were to do a bit of that pixel peeping, you will see a little bit of out of alignment. However, pretty much from viewing the image where I want it to, it's a very, very good sort of alignment that I've been able to achieve within the detail. And then still even getting the detail there of the sand sort of blowing off the top of one of the dunes really creates sort of that depth and that interest within the actual image itself. So hopefully that's given you a little bit more of an information about how I actually went about processing that actual image and creating that panorama. Time-wise, it took a lot longer than I thought, and that's possibly down to the actual computer processing it and obviously going through each of those images, because they're quite large files in themselves, and obviously trying to condense that all and create that panorama was a lot of work for the actual computer to do. So if obviously I had a desktop computer, may well that have been a bit faster. But it was a lot more complex than I first thought. I think I got a bit carried away when I was actually out there in Gran Canaria, and a bit sort of snap happy, and obviously taking all of those images throughout the image, which was a fantastic. I mean, I'm really pleased that I actually was able to capture that scene in front of me and then obviously show it to yourselves. But obviously the processing side of things took a lot longer than I was anticipating. But at the end of the day, it's really worth it. If you've got any questions about how to edit using Elements 2018, please obviously comment below, and I'll try and obviously help you out and some of the tips that I've obviously picked up by using it. If you've enjoyed the video today, please consider subscribing. If you've already subscribed, please leave me a comment as well, as I do obviously reply to each of my comments. But thanks a lot for watching, and take care.